guys and gals, Never here from Drake Wayne Game, and it's 70 minutes to the Gaming Drag. Today I'm coming back at you with another Let's Play episode of Repeat Remake, Sissel's Path. So yeah, let's go ahead and jump right back into it, shall we? Alarm chain, you were up, and let's go. We were involved in a crazy standoff. Alright. Do you expect us to take you at your word, Morse? What other choice do you have? In the distance, we heard police sirens echoing through the streets. Time was running out. You have contacts everywhere, don't you, Morris? Tell the police to evacuate the area immediately, or we kill a hostage. Morris's grip on his pistol tightened. Surely you don't intend to waste a bargaining chip so quickly. And like I said before, we have 2 hostages. We can afford to lose one. In that moment, I watched Herschel's eyes slowly dart between Sissel's writhing body, the 2 frantic thugs, and the pistol pressed against Sissel's temple. I could practically see the thoughts forming in his head as the wail of police sirens came ever closer. Herschel's mind was made up. He was about to do something stupidly rash and self-sacrificing. Jinny and I exchanged anxious, knowing looks. Things were looking bad. My heart was pounding a mile a minute as I desperately glanced around the room, between the thugs, Morse, Bradley floating helplessly in her vase as she watched the events unfold, and then my eyes trained on the sprinklers embedded in the ceiling. A spark of hope dawned on me, and I nudged Jinny urgently. Water. What are you... She followed my gaze, and her eyes widened in realization. Jinny swallowed, and her grip on her stolen pistol shook. You know what to do, right? When his pistol is aimed away from Sissel's head, shoot! Jinny's lips tightened. Don't die, any of you. I don't want to go through that again. I flashed Jinny a nervous grin. You've got this. Alright, get ready. When Herschel makes his move, we watched with sweat dripping down our brows. Herschel hands closed into fists. He lay on the ground, pressed against the weight of the burly thug on top of him. With a roar, he suddenly threw a larger man off of himself with all his might and lunged across the room. Everyone jumped, startled as Herschel charged towards the shrewd thug and Sissel. Boss, what are you... I gulped, watching in slow motion as the shrewd thug moved his pistol away from Sissel's temple and towards Herschel's rapid approach. Herschel paid it no mind and continued charging. He seemed to almost welcome it. Will this finally make up for my mistakes? I'll see you soon, sis. The moment the shrewd thug's pistol was a safe distance away from Sissel's head, Jinny sprang into action. Her aim snapped up towards the sprinklers and she pulled the trigger. Bang! The next few moments happened all too quickly. As soon as the torrent of water came pouring down, I launched myself across the room and knocked over Bradley's flower vase. Its contents spilled across the floor to join the downpour from the sprinklers with a sharp splash. Behind me, I heard 2 gunshots go off simultaneously from both the shrewd thug and Morse. My heart skipped a beat as I turned around, dread filling my chest. Before I could comprehend the situation, there was a ghostly whisper in my ears. A wave of chill air flew past me. Bradley surged forward through the downpour, rapidly growing to her full size with her arms outstretched as she threw herself in front of the unknowing Herschel. Oh. Fancy! Second now. Oh, this just keeps getting better and better. I love this game. In the blink of an eye, the thug's bullet was firmly clasped in her skeletal hand before falling harmlessly on the floor. At that same moment, the shrewd thug shrieked as his hand exploded in a shower of blood where Morse's bullet pierced him. He stumbled backwards, but his grip around Sissel's neck was iron tight despite his kicking and screaming. Herschel was suddenly upon him and made a grab at Sissel, but the shrewd thug landed a kick square to his ribs and sent him reeling to the floor. As he stumbled backwards, the burly thug leapt onto his feet and grabbed the fallen gun on the floor. Bro, we gotta go! The larger man seized the shrewd thug and threw a struggling Sissel over his shoulder. In a flash, he dashed out of the fire escape with the 2 of them in his grip. My breath caught in my throat as the man leaped off the second-story fire stairs and landed on a bush below with a crash. There was a moment of rustling before he leapt back onto his feet and made a mad dash towards their car. Bradley surged forward to follow them, but she immediately slowed to a halt as she reached the fire escape door. Her form flickered like smoke in the hot and dry summer heat outside, and she let out a hiss of frustration. Morse ran right through her, completely oblivious to her existence, and pointed his gun at the retreating thugs. His shots bounced off the car's exterior and shattered a window, but the car did not miss a beat as it sped off around the corner and out of sight. In the distance, the wail of police sirens grew louder as a small platoon of cop cars suddenly rushed by in hot pursuit. The noise soon faded and left us alone in the flooded apartment, shaking and stunned. Exhaustion suddenly hit me as the adrenaline left my veins. Everyone in the apartment let out a breath they did not know they were holding as cold dread took the place of our panic. Silence hung over us for several moments as we tried to process what happened. They got away. They had Sissel. No! Herschel pounded his fist into the floor with an anguished cry. No, 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 no! He buried his face in his hands, barely holding it together. I almost had him. He shouldn't have to suffer through my mistakes. If I had just had the courtesy of dying like I was supposed to. Something inside me snapped and my vision turned red. The tension that had built up over the last few days of carefully tiptoeing over everyone's feelings came spilling out all at once. All of the bottled up pain from the last timeline, of watching Sissel leave, of Jinny's last smile, and of Herschel's heartbroken figure at the hospital, it all came erupting out of my throat. I seized a nearby soaked pillow from the sofa and swung it at Herschel's head with a feral screech. Ow! What the hell was that for? You dumbass! You idiot! You absolute dickhead! You insufferable nitwit! Ow, ow, ow! What's your problem, kid? What's my problem? After everything that's happened, why the fuck are you still trying to be a fucking hero? You promised Sissel that you will watch him at the Nationals next week. What's he supposed to do if you're dead? It's my burden to... Yes, I get it. You feel guilty. You want to make up for your mistakes. But what's dying gonna do? You're just hurting yourself. Suffering alone isn't gonna make up for what you did to Sissel and his mom. It's not noble, it's not courageous, it's just suffering. Herschel stuttered, as though trying to come up with a retort. After several moments of silence, he physically deflated and slumped down onto the floor. Behind him, unseen and unheard, Bradley gently placed a hand on her brother's shoulder. Here's what's gonna happen. We're gonna go chase those thugs. We're gonna go rescue Sissel, and we're gonna all fucking survive this. And then you're gonna go to the Nationals with Sissel, and you're both gonna have a fucking good time. You got that? Through all the guilt and pain, Herschel could only muster up a small chuckle and nod his head. Jinny and Morse cautiously approached us. I really should have calmed down at this point, but there was still a lot of leftover rage boiling in my chest. I whipped around and jabbed an accusing finger at Jinny. That goes for you too! You better survive this goddamn mess. Don't you fucking go disappearing on me. Jinny laughed and held out her hands in surrender. Okay, yeesh. Sissel's foul mouth really rubbed off on you. And you! I swung my pointed finger at Morse's face. The informant blinked and took a step back. Your disguise sucks ass. I honestly have no idea what your problem is or why you're trying to hide your face from Owen. Yes, it's that obvious. When this whole mess is over, go talk to him. You're a goddamn adult, start acting like it. Morse, for once, was stunned into silence. I took a deep breath and squeezed my eyes shut. My heart was still thumping painfully against my chest as I struggled to calm my rapid breathing, my throat hoarse from all the shouting. I swallowed and sank down on the soaked couch, blood pounding through my forehead. Are you done? Maybe, I think. I'm still mad. Quite the understatement. Take a few moments to collect yourselves and calm your blood pressure. I'll gather up some intel and see where those thugs ran off to. They've got an entire fleet of police cars on their tail. They couldn't have gotten far. I nodded quietly and rubbed my forehead, exhaustion slowly taking hold. As we all took a bit of time to reorient ourselves, Morse dug out a police scanner from his office and fiddled with it irritably. The audio quality was horrid, but he managed to fish out some tidbits of information from the police chase. It seems those two thugs are in quite the panic. The police chased them all over the city and currently have them cornered in the forest area of Bradley Woods. The tires have been blown out of their car and they're running out of options. That's good, right? Do you think the police can sort everything out by themselves? Desperation makes any cornered animal more dangerous. And I know for a fact that the city's police force is on the more manipulatable side. I'd rather be there myself to see things through, especially with your friend's life on the line. Morse's phone suddenly buzzed sharply. Second, y'all. Alright, guys and gals, we are back. Let's jump back into it, shall we? Okay. Hello? He held it to his ear for several seconds before his eyes widened and he quickly switched it to speakerphone. The voice of a tired older man sighed from the other end of the line. Morse, was it? This is Oleander Lorelei speaking. Yes, I know who you are. I came across the most interesting news broadcast this morning. I assume it was your doing. I have no idea what you're talking about. Of course. You are a talented informant, but I suppose it would be unreasonable to assume you are informed in every little event. Why are you calling? Oh, just here to spread some local gossip. Did you hear? The Lorelei family has officially disavowed Marv and Harry Lorelei from their ranks. Whatever happens to them, the family no longer considers it any of their business. And now it seems they've gotten themselves caught up in a police chase. Funny how things turn out. There was a glint in Morse's eye. Despite being obscured behind a thick scarf, I could almost see the sly smile spreading across his face. I see. Do with this information what you will, and do me a small kindness and keep an eye on my son, will you? He seems to be at the age where he runs into trouble constantly. Farewell, Morse the informant. I wish you a good and fruitful day. And with that, the call was cut off. Morse stuffed his phone back into his pocket with a thoughtful look. The lack of subtlety truly runs through the family. He shot us a determined look and nudged his head toward the door. Get yourselves ready. We're heading out. You're letting us come along? Morse sighed. I'd rather not, but I know for a fact that you lot will do something profoundly stupid if I left you behind. So yes, come along. Let's go rescue your friend. Jinny, Herschel, and I shot Morse grateful looks. As we all headed out the door, Morse ruffled through his office and pulled out what looked like a long rectangular instrument case. I stared curiously as he loosened the shoulder strap and slung it over his head. What's in there? Precautions. And with no further explanation, he ushered us toward the parking lot and into his rickety old car. We were all silent as we piled up into the car and sped off towards Bradley Woods. Before we left, I insisted on grabbing Bradley's vase and refilled it with water, with the wish once again floating inside. Morse and Herschel both shot me a few weird looks. It's my emotional support vase, I explained, and they both decided against questioning me further. The rest of the car ride was awfully quiet, with none of us knowing what to say through the painful worry that twisted in our guts. As we neared the woods, I cleared my throat awkwardly and turned toward Herschel. Hey. Sorry about earlier for yelling at you. I kinda just lost it. You didn't deserve that. Herschel let out a quick, quiet chuckle. Nah, you're a good kid. I think I needed to hear all that. I could have been a little nicer about it. Probably, but I'm a stubborn old man. Sometimes it takes a bit of shouting to get through my thick skull. He flashed me a small smile. Thanks for reminding me about my promise and all that. Of course. Cecil would be so pissed if you missed the Nationals. Well, let's go get him home safely so we can hear him complaining in person, I laughed and clutched Bradley's vase tighter against my chest. Yeah. A thick morning fog had rolled across Bradley Lake by the time we arrived, obscuring our vision with a ghostly mist. The thick fog allowed us to get close without being seen, which was sorely needed due to the entire place buzzing with police activity. Cop cars surrounded the thug's now empty vehicle, and officers were pouring into the surrounding woods with furious shouts. Morse parked us at a discreet distance behind a line of bushes and fidgeted with his police scanner with a frown. It sounds like they had a little shootout. No injuries, thankfully. The thug's car had completely broken down. They're still holding Cecil hostage and fled into the woods on foot. Morse paused, listening to the scanner intently. The police are approaching cautiously, but have them pinned down at a lakeside beach, completely surrounded. Great. Now they just have to get Cecil out of there safely. Easier said than done. Hostage situations rarely resolve smoothly. Morse grabbed his large instrument case and slung it over his shoulder. He stepped out of the car and shot us a pointed look. I'm going out to get a clear view of the situation. Keep an eye on the scanner and call me if anything happens. Do not do anything stupid. Do you understand? Alright, y'all, I'm actually going to pause it right there. Thank you all so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, ring that notification bell, and check out our Patreon if you can. It always helps. Before I go, I'm going to give a quick shout out to our lovely bronze tier patrons. Thank you all for all I do for the channel. We greatly appreciate your support. Thank you to our silver tier patron, Cade Silverman. Thank you for going above and beyond. It's greatly appreciated. Thank you to our gold tier patron, Teresm Guy. You're awesome. We love you. Thank you for subbing to Ultimate Tier. Anyway, if y'all want to get your names and credits, get access to all of our not safe for more content as little as $5. Alrighty, I love you all. I'll see y'all in the next video. Bye-bye.